Se leaks isi mazi, se trailer ixis mazi, Zaldrizotti ixas mazi, Zaldrizas buzdari ixos daor. In this video, I'm going to continue what I've been doing for the past couple of days. I mentioned last week that once we get those leaks coming out, it's like the Hoover Dam breaking, right? So in this video, I'm going to further break down the leaks that we got from yesterday, but also a new video that was released today. Before I jump into any of that, please do me a massive favor. Make sure you're subscribed, and also make sure you turn the notifications on and slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 42069. Long night! One more thing, real quick, before I jump into the contents of this video. Now, I've mentioned recently, a few weeks ago, Game of Thrones, HBO, has officially announced a convention for Game of Thrones. Now, they've never done this before in the past. This would be a dream come true of mine, to be able to go there and meet like Dan and Dave, or Emilia Clarke, or Kit Harington, or any of the crazy top-tier cast members they're going to be getting for this series. Maisie Williams, Sophie Turner, any number of them could be showing up, and I'm pretty sure the guests are going to be announced within the next week. So if you cannot make it like myself, I can't afford to go from my YouTube ad revenue alone, so I've started a GoFundMe. I'll take as much footage as possible and basically make it so that if you're unable to go, you'll get to experience it sort of through the eyes of a super fan. I've linked that down below in the description if you want to go check it out. Now, for those who are unaware, the Stepstones are a chain of islands between the South Narrow Sea and the Northwestern Summer Sea. The islands are basically to the east of Dorne and to the west of Westeros and the disputed lands in Essos. Now, at one point, it's believed that the Stepstones were sort of the arm of Dorne, right? So this landmass that connected Westeros and Essos. Now, there was this crazy ice and fire battle that went on there. And long story short, the First Men used to use that land bridge to cross from Essos over to Westeros. So a lot of people think that, you know, obviously Valyrians used to use that same thing as well. And not necessarily Targaryens, but Valyrian Dragon Lords once used this to cross over to Westeros. But one of the main things to know is that there was a battle that took place between the First Men and the Children of the Forest. And it's said that the Children of the Forest actually used ancient ice magic to shatter the arm of Dorne, thereby disconnecting the First Men's way to get over to Westeros. And obviously they still came over, but this is what happened in the Stepstones. So this shattered archipelago of islands is a sort of a combination of free cities. Basically linking it to this story, to House of the Dragon, to the Dance of the Dragons. Daemon goes there with Corlys, with very few numbers. And I did mention this in my video yesterday, but in more detail, Daemon and Corlys go there with very few numbers, and using Corlys's mastery of a naval command and Daemon's, prowess, they're able to carve out a kingdom. And Corlys actually names Daemon King of the Stepstones. Now, it's interesting that, as you can tell from these leaked pictures, they're going to be showing a lot of this battle. Now, there was an image that I initially thought could have been Prince Daemon. We saw Matt Smith in several different lengths of wigs, so obviously those indicate time jumps. Like his time at the Stepstones, he's probably not used to all of the attention that he gets in King's Landing, right? So the attention to grooming and all that shit. So one of the ways to show that this is not the main timeline, it's actually a flashback, is by having Daemon's hair look wild. Like, so they could use some CGI to sort of de-age him a bit, but also showing that he's sort of almost doing like a Castaway thing by conquering the Stepstones. Because remember, they're greatly outnumbered, and it takes him a while to sort of make the kingdom his own. But that image that I thought was Prince Daemon is most likely Corlys. If you look at the wig and you realize through the history books that Corlys was with Daemon when he was conquering the Stepstones, Daemon was basically only able to do it thanks to Corlys, then that makes sense why Corlys would be a part of these flashbacks. And all that sea smoke and a lot of the other CGI elements are probably Daemon flying CARAXES around, and then we may get a few other dragons that interact with him. Now, it is really important that we actually get to see the Stepstones early on in the series, because at one point during the dance, the actual like battle, the House Targaryen Civil War, Sir Otto Hightower, who is Daemon's greatest rival, sort of reaches out to the Stepstones because they know that Daemon has enemies down there. And when Sir Otto reaches out to them, he's able to coerce some new allies that go against Daemon, Corlys, Rhaenyra, and the Blacks. Now, the actual leaked video has several different things in it, and just sort of kind of reacting to it now, basically the video starts out with the same fellow that we saw, the House Targaryen Dragon Guard member. A lot of people thought he could be posing for a photo shoot, but he's up on the cliff, and they're just sort of getting ready for like what will potentially be. I'm hoping these are scenes for the trailer. Maybe that's why they're going back and filming these sort of reshoots. But we could also see several different Isosi-looking gentlemen that are most likely going to be part of Daemon's conquering of the Stepstones. These may be some of the lords that he feeds out to the crabs, and we see their bodies just sort of like, you know, withering away to the elements. And then also just sort of skipping along a little bit here, we also have footage of a bunch of exciting things. Mainly, as you can see right here from this image, these are Targaryen youths, and they are practicing their sword play. It's fucking amazing. Like, this is obviously not, you know, like, they're not like filming a scene right now, but the fact that they're training and the fact that this is on the beach lets me think that this is most likely Dragonstone. We're getting to see Rhaenyra's children sparring, and I love their sparring outfits, the combo with the red and black. Oh my god. I'm so fucking excited for this show. Like, my dreams are coming true. It's one of the biggest things that I thought would be amazing to get to see. And it's kind of sad with a lot of fantasy, is that most fantasy nowadays, right, high fantasy, is set after a period, right? So the main storyline, whether it be A Song of Ice and Fire, Lord of the Rings, whatever, the main storyline is always set hundreds or thousands of years after the greatest time period in that fictional universe's history, right? So one of the things we get to see with this new show is they go back 180 years when the Targaryens are at the top tip of their power, when their influence is the strongest in Westerosi history. So yes, we got to see the Lannisters, yes, we got to see the Starks, but now it's all about Targaryens, fire and fucking blood. They're spending so much attention to detail on these costumes. If this Dragon Guard armor looks this fucking amazing off camera, just imagine how it's gonna look on camera with all the different color lenses and the CG elements that they. Oh, I'm so fucking excited. The attention to detail is insane. Another thing, if you look at these images of the props that are being used, it's crazy. They look real. They look like they're from an abandoned shipwreck or just someone who lives on the beach. It's gonna be covered in sand. This gets me so excited. And anything any fear that I had of them not putting as much effort into this series because they were afraid it was going to fail, not that I had that, but, you know, a little bit of that existed. Just to sort of focus and wrap this video back around, you know, it's interesting that we do see two of Rhaenyra's children. Now, I'm not going to say that they're in the Stepstones with Daemon. They're just filming on the beach. It could also be Dragonstone. But there is a point early on in 130 AC, so when the dance kicks off, that there's a fleet that's carrying two of Rhaenyra's children, Princess Aegon and Viserys. And there ended up, Aegon ends up escaping atop a storm cloud, but Viserys is taken captive and he goes to Shirako. Now, it's hard to tell which one of Rhaenyra's sons these are. I think that the fact that they're using red and black sparring outfits makes me believe that yes, they are in fact Rhaenyra's children. And I don't know if it's Viserys and Luke. It's hard to tell. Like I said, they're training. That like the footage that we see from it is not going to be shown on screen, but it looks like they're about to film some sort of a sparring scene. Now, I would love for them to sort of just be chilling out a beach on Dragonstone. We get a shot of Rhaenyra landing on Syrax, and then maybe we get Rhaenys walking up to them. Eve Best was spotted yesterday. I didn't notice her over, you know, the hoopla of me just being excited to see Targaryen sons. But Eve Best is there, so I kind of imagine a scene where it's like a good chunk of the reds, or sorry, a good chunk of the blacks are on Dragonstone, and we just see what their home life is like before the war starts. Maybe it could be a quick flash, and then we get a flashback. Who knows? At this point, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Obviously, I will be dropping another one today if more news comes out. Do me that massive favor and slap a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe. The like goal is going to be 42069. I want to thank you all again so much for watching. My name is Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.